have crossed paths before, you probably know what this is going to be about. But for those of you who don't know me, my name's Taze. I am a tech recruiter, and this is my podcast, Digital Voyage. Can I get a glass of wine, please? It's 5 o'clock somewhere. To give you some context on why I'm doing this, I wanted to tell you a little bit about my story to begin with. So I'm originally from Brazil. I've been in Australia for 6 years now. I moved over here just a couple of months after turning 18, straight out of high school, purely because I wanted to learn English and get a better job once I returned back home. When I arrived in Australia, I spoke very little English. And when I say very little, I basically mean things like, hi, how are you? My name's Taze. What's the time? I'm from Brazil. Couldn't really hold a conversation with someone. But not only was I not able to speak English, I didn't have any work experience, and I only had 2 weeks of accommodation paid for, and I only had $1,500 in my bank account. What I did have, though, was a lot of courage and determination and a perfect plan, or at least I thought it was going to be perfect. In my head, I was going to arrive and I would find a job in hospitality and work my 20 hours a week, make something like $500, which would cover all of my living expenses, all the food, a couple of drinks on the weekend, and I would be happy ever after. That obviously didn't happen. The plan didn't work out. I struggled a lot to find my first job. I probably didn't work for about a month and a half. And like I said before, I only had $1,500. So I was really rationing all of the money that I had, making sure that I only bought enough to get by until I decided to subscribe for a cleaning company to, clean a couple of houses and make some money. So for something like 3 months, I would take my little shopping trolley to English school. And in that trolley, I had my vacuum, my mop, my cleaning products. And at the end of every class, when I had bookings, at the end of the class, I would take the train with my little shopping trolley and I would clean a couple, maybe 3 houses a day. And during that time, my English got better. I was able to make a couple of connections here and there. So I got my first hospitality job at a Brazilian restaurant called Copacabana in Fitzroy. It was amazing. Doesn't exist anymore, but it was the jam at the time. I got better at hospitality. My English improved a lot and I got to where I am today. This is obviously just a snippet of some of the challenges that I faced along the way, and I'm really proud of them. At the time, it was tough. It was really hard. I didn't think I was going to move overseas to clean houses as soon as I arrived here, but I'm really thankful for the challenges that I had to face along the way, because I basically believe that they've molded me into the person that I became and the person that I am today. But it wasn't fun at the time. But the thing is, fast forward 6 years, I am still on a graduate visa. I am very, very lucky that I have an alternative to a sponsorship visa, because I only have a year left on my graduate visa, and I technically wouldn't be able to apply for a sponsorship visa because I don't have enough experience in recruitment to be able to justify a sponsorship visa. If it wasn't for my partner, I would probably have to pack up and go back to Brazil, at least for a while, until I could find a better solution. I don't know, maybe I would have to study again. And mind you, I already did pay a lot of money upfront for a bachelor in hospitality and tourism management to be able to secure a postgraduate visa. Anyway, I just wanted to give you some context. Since joining recruitment, I briefly shared my story with other people, and I sort of started getting involved in the international community, and I was able to secure a sponsorship visa for one of my candidates who are placed in a job. So I think that by now everyone really knows that I'm a big advocate for sponsorship visas, and I really, really want to try and help as many people from overseas as I can. So I started receiving so many messages from people asking me, what do I need to do to get my first job? What do I need to do to be able to move to Australia? What are the visas available? Can you take a look at my CV? Can you introduce me to a company? Can you get me a job? And I don't have the answer to all of these questions, unfortunately. I wish I had the time to help every single person that reaches out to me for help, but it's just out of hands or out of my hands. I don't really know. That's where the idea of starting this podcast came about, because I thought if I could share the stories and journeys of people that have walked the walk in terms of moving over to Australia within the digital landscape, or for a job within the digital landscape, they'll be able to talk the talk, and they'll be able to help those people reaching out to me for help. This is what Digital Voyage is about, or Voyage, if you wish. What I want is to speak to people from linguistically and culturally diverse backgrounds to be able to share their journeys, so that people that resonate with them and their culture and their language, that are currently going through a similar experience or want to go through a similar experience, can look up to them and feel encouraged to do the same. I also want people to feel confident in what they have achieved and stop believing that they're not capable of achieving their career goals or taking the next step up because they're not confident in their communication skills. And when I say communication skills, I mean they're not confident in their English. And I think that is just mental to see candidates telling me that they didn't do well on an interview because they weren't confident enough about their English skills. Like, they have so much more to offer, and just because you make a couple of grammar mistakes, I just made one, and I'm pretty sure that I made so many mistakes in this whole recording. So with this, I want to create a safe space for people to feel comfortable, acknowledge all the challenges that they had to face along the way, or the things that they had to leave behind in their home country, whether that is cultural traditions or their family or their friends, whatever that is. I just want people to feel proud of everything that they have achieved. If you came from overseas and you've been able to establish a life in Australia, and you feel like other people could benefit from your story, please reach out. I would absolutely love to have a chat to you and see if we can help the wider community by sharing your challenges, your mistakes, your success, and all of that. This is getting too long now, but thank you for listening. I hope to see everyone soon.